I'm with Daniel Solis today. He's the VP of Sales for VA Wholesale Mortgage. What's going on, dude?
Man, hanging out. I'm stoked to be here, and it's just exciting. We just had that photo shoot, so now I get to talk a little bit instead of just sit there and smile at a camera and look awkward.
Yeah, you kind of got my attention because I look at people who are like really active on social media, people who are kind of being innovative and driving brand in a new direction. What do you feel like is your reason for being so active on social media, for pushing out the content consistently? What kind of inspired you to take that route?
I think that I look at social as almost as a storefront. You know, we hear a lot of people say it like a virtual storefront, and I look at social like that. And I don't think that social is and I say this all the time, it's not a separator anymore. It really is a necessity, because you can have all these virtual storefronts that are just popping up everywhere. And if you're not creating a store online, then you're just going to rely solely on casting a very small net. With social, I can take a net and cast it over thousands of people. So I know that the importance of social, man, it's just starting.
Yeah,
it's just starting.
It's got my attention, like seeing you put out all the cuts, and that's something I neglected building my business. I was so busy building everybody else's that now this year I'm like, man, I really need to focus on what I practice, what I preach. But it's always the time, and it's always the money usually that I think holds people up. What do you feel like has allowed you to be confident in making content? Like, I know it's like some people, they get that hang up on making content.
If you go back to my first videos, because I looked at them the other day, it looked like a PowerPoint for high school. And it was bad, but I realized that I did it. And I realized that if I could do those, then it was just going to evolve and get better. But at least I did it. At least I started. So I'm just somebody that just doesn't care. I really don't care what anybody says. I don't care what anybody thinks. If I think it's going to work, I'm going to try it. If it doesn't work, I'll try something else. So I think a lot of people allow fear to control their mind, and they let fear hold them back for everything. And I'm like, man, if I'm scared of something, you better believe I'm going to run to it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to go run to it. If I'm scared of public speaking, I'm going to sign up for every opportunity for me to go public speak. If I'm scared to make a video, I'm going to go record 100 of them. That's just my mindset.
Yeah. I think for me, I get bored if I'm not going to that avenue of like fear or hesitation where I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that. Like, I get so bored if I stay in the comfort zones. For me, it's like, I'm not even thinking about sometimes the result of what it'll be.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna be bored if I'm not doing something interesting or doing something exciting or different. So podcasting is something that I've had like kind of a reserve with, but also I think can be hugely beneficial. I think it's something that like blew up and everyone started doing a podcast, right? Like, it seems like it's something that a lot of people are doing. So to me, the evolution that I'm seeing with like podcasting as a content piece is like cutting it up into shorter pieces, And
I think like, especially YouTube and with your podcast, you can create shorts that you could create reels. Like, you can create so much content out of a podcast and then just put them to long form. I think a lot of people are so obsessed with short form content. I mean, do you know what the average watch time, like what's the average watch time on a couple seconds maybe?
It's insane. Yeah, I think it's like 30 seconds usually. I mean, the platforms limit a lot of times 60 seconds is the max because they know it's.
So we're being conditioned to have a short attention span. What I think is going to happen, I think there's going to be a shift, and I think people are going to go back to the long form content. And if you could create a podcast and film it and cut it up and create shorts about the podcast and then put the podcast on YouTube and push people there, I think people are going to eventually just go back.
Right.
And go back to.
Do you have fun making content, or is it just a chore?
I think it was a chore up front because I had no idea what I was doing. But now I do enjoy it because it gives you an opportunity to do things that you wouldn't normally do. Like, if I wasn't doing content, we wouldn't be sitting here talking.
Right.
If I wasn't into content, we wouldn't have gotten to do that shoot.
Right.
So I think that content just opens up the door for so much opportunity that it's just fun for me now. I love doing this stuff.
Yeah, it makes it like a fun opportunity versus back in the day, it was like you hired a company to do something or you had an ad in the phone book. Now it's like we have the control. Like we have the control to do it. It makes it fun to be kind of a part of it, be in the creative steering wheel. What do you do for fun? What do you
golf, man?
You golf?
I golf. That's it. I golf. Like if I'm
good?
I'm decent. I'm decent. I don't want to put it out there because if somebody wants to play me for money, I'm horrible. No, I'm probably like 4 or 5 handicap.
4 or 5 what?
Handicap. So I'm probably like low 70s.
Okay.
If that means anything.
What does the handicap part mean?
So it's just basically how many strokes over par you are. Like every course has a par. So I take it you play golf.
So are you actually, do they consider you handicapped if you can't score that amount?
No. No.
I'm not a golfer, so to me, that's like a really, I mean, nothing against, you know.
Sorry. Let's say the higher your handicap is, the worse you are.
The more they should change that word. That seems a little. I don't know. Gosh. Plus, I don't think most handicapped people can golf.
Okay, we're gonna go over par. We'll go over par.
That's the actual term they use in golf is over handicap.
Your handicap. What's your handicap?
Pretentious people. Your handicap.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It could have been another sport that's more inclusive, like swimming or something. But
we can call. I don't know what you could call it.
But that's what it's actually called.
That's what it's called.
I didn't know that. Well, I'm probably really handicapped then.
If you don't know what the handicap system is, you're up there.
Yeah. Like I walk up and they're like, "That's the guy in the wheelchair right there. He basically might as well be in a wheelchair playing golf."
Just straight missed the ball.
Yeah, I went to the range this week for a buddy's birthday, and it was just like. You know, I was just hitting them. My whole goal was just to get it in like at least a 45-degree radius. Yeah. I started though, I was like 90 degrees. Some was almost hitting the people next to me. But by the end, I got it down to about 30 degrees. Like I was in this range.
Did you go to Topgolf?
No, I went to the like little crappy one up here, Lynn Haven.
Golf park?
Lynn Haven.
Yeah, with the putt-putt?
Yeah, where like the turf is like overlapping to where you can never actually see where the ball's going to go.
Grew up there, man. I grew up on that driving range.
You know that property's for sale?
Really?
It's for like $4 million. You know what I think they're going to do with it? I think they're going to tear it down and build a big ass like Spence Crossing.
Dude, I would love to get it.
You're like thinking
I would love to get that.
Yeah.
How do we get that? Is it under contract?
I don't think so. I think it's on LoopNet for like $4 million or I think when I initially saw it like a year ago, it was like 14 million. And I think that's
we had
when
some
they
good times
like,
at that driving range. One of my buddies in high school, like literally stripped down and ran to the middle and just dove into one of the ponds out there. And then
there's no staff there, so no one probably complained. I think they have one person running the whole thing.
He's still the same guy probably.
But yeah, I'm not really a golfer, but I'm trying to get more into it because it seems like the sport you go into as your knees break down as you get older and your elbows start creaking. Like,
man,
golf is a lifelong sport.
Golf is a life, but everybody plays it. Yeah, it's such a place to network. And
I grew up. I didn't see that. Not a lot of people around me golf.
Now they do.
I was around like car mechanics and
you.
like waitresses and stuff growing up though. So I didn't see anybody golfing. But now I'm like everybody's golfing around me.
So my dad taught me how to play.
Oh, really?
So he grew up playing soccer. So he's from Honduras.
Right.
Like Honduras, came here, taught himself everything.
Really?
And he grew up playing soccer, but he like fell in love with golf. And so he taught me how to play. I hated it when I was 10. I hated golf. I thought it was the most boring thing ever created. And then high school came around and I found out they had a golf team in high school. And I was like, no way. I can play free golf.
Golf team.
Oh, I was on the golf team.
Is that a cool thing in high school? Like when you're on the golf team, it's not cool?
I don't think it was. But I think it became, because we were decent.
I feel like it'd be cool now.
Yeah, it's free golf. Like I got to play free golf every day. And then I worked at a golf course too. I worked at this nice country club here in Virginia Beach. Free golf. Free golf. Cool. Wasn't allowed to get a tip.
Right.
No tips allowed, but free golf.
I need to go with you. Jeff's he was like in competitions and stuff.
For golf?
Yeah. Yeah. In like high school or something like that. They were like, he was growing up and he was in like competitions and was like up there. His dad was pushing him to be like a pro golfer. I just found out.
Really?
So, yeah.
No way. We're gonna have to go play.
I know. Yeah, we should go play.
Come on, man.
I need to get better for sure. Me and my girlfriend, I found a free set of clubs by my dumpster over here. It was a whole set of clubs. I'm serious, like completely free, just sitting there. Like it had the kickstand.
Did you try them?
It had the kickstand. It was just sitting there, like all like beautiful, like. And I just walked up and grabbed it, and
that's because
what I was
people quit
swinging
golf.
with.
They quit golf all the time, and then they get back into it.
Really?
Oh yeah. You quit. You'll play 18.
Because you care so much about the score and you can't get that good?
You hate it after 18, but then you'll love it after 18. It's golf. It just brings you back for more.
It's kind of like bass fishing.
I love fish. I love fishing.
You do? Do you bass fish? You ever bass fish?
Yeah.
You get a little country underneath. You know?
I do.
What's your background? Are you a suburban guy? Did you grow up in?
I grew up in Virginia Beach. I grew up right near town center. It wasn't town center. It was just a Taco Bell when I was growing up. It was
you grew up where the Taco Bell is right now?
No. So a little bit further down. Further down. Right between Shore Drive and Town Center is exactly where I was.
Okay.
So I went to Princess Anne, but my uncle was hunting and fishing, and I loved it. I loved being outside. I like hiking. I like doing all that stuff.
So you got introduced to a little bit of the country lifestyle from your uncle.
Yeah.
What did your parents do? What were they?
So my dad, like I said, came from Honduras. So he came over here, worked on a cruise ship. He taught himself English, got his citizenship and everything. And then met my mom on the cruise ship in like 7 days. Yeah. 7 days.
Is she American?
Yeah.
Oh.
So he was on the cruise ship, and he
used her.
He straight swooped
to
her.
Get.
No, he had it prior. This isn't like 90 Day Fiance.
Oh, he had it prior. Okay.
It's not. This isn't a TLC show.
I was gonna say, wow, he really pulled it off there.
No, he got his citizenship and all that before, and then met my mom. And my mom was on a cruise from college. She just was like, we're going on a cruise. She was sick the entire time. Dad took care of her. 7 days. He was like, I'm going to marry her. They kept in contact. And
so he restored her back to health on the cruise ship?
Yeah.
On the cruise ship?
On the cruise ship.
Wow.
Yeah. Because she can't, like, if she moves too fast, she gets sick.
Oh my gosh. She's like sick all the time.
Oh, yeah. It just pops Dramamine.
My mom's kind of like the same way.
Yeah.
Motion sick.
Motion sick.
Oh, yeah. She was like puking, messed up from the ship, and he was resting her.
Yeah,
helping her get back to health.
It was for better for worse, like immediately.
So it wasn't a good cruise, but in the end,
she didn't have a good cruise, but I'm here.
Yeah, if the cruise didn't happen, you wouldn't be here. Wow.
So yeah, cool. So but my dad, my mom is the my dad's compassionate. I don't want to say that, but my mom is very like compassionate, very. I don't know the words, but like
it's the hardest thing to describe your family.
Well, my dad is very passionate,
right?
Like extremely passionate. I mean, think about it. You come here with nothing, and you have to build everything.
He's the driven.
Yeah.
Like,
so he was in car sales all his life. He's been in cars all his life.
A hustler.
Always. He can. He's best friends with anybody he ever meets. He doesn't settle for anything other than 100% passion. You like that word is what we grew up with. Passion. Everything we did had to be with passion. And I think that I didn't understand it as much then as I do now, that everything I touch, I'm going all in. Like there is no gray area. There is no, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. If I'm going to do it, it's all in.
You got that from him, you think, partly?
Yeah. And my mom is the same way, but my mom's more like, let's have fun. Yeah. My dad's like, have fun, but you better win.
Right.
Yeah.
I got an interesting question on this topic. So I feel like a majority of who we are is a result of the people who raised us, right? Like our surroundings or influence. But there's a point in life where you start to self-reflect and like realize that you have some control and steering. But I still feel like it's sort of within the box of what you're raised around. How much do you feel like you've manifested like control outside of who you were destined to become from who raised you? Like,
man,
I think
that's a tough question because, I was raised, I was blessed to be raised in a household of positivity and support. And, you can be everything that you want to be, but be humble about it. Always, never, ever let people know, if you're good at something, be humble. So I was raised in a house where it wasn't, I didn't have the hardship,
Right.
But I know that I still want to be the best at everything that I do.
Right.
Like I have a hunger for that. So I can't speak for a lot of people that grow up in a household that's not like that. And when they make it out of that, how cool a story that is.
Right.
How cool it is to watch somebody shape, hating something from where they came, understanding the importance of what happened and not being their past, but moving forward and being who they were destined to be.
Yeah.
I truly believe that a person, even though they might be influenced in very young ages, still have a decision later in life to be who they want to be.
Yeah.
I really do. And some people go into what they were told they were going to be, and some people weren't. And I think it's so important to be surrounded by people that are going to reflect who you want to be. Like you have to surround yourself with people that are going where you're going.
I agree.
If I'm hungry and I'm surrounding myself with people that don't want to do anything other than just party and do that, which, I mean, if you want to do that, go do it. But I want to be around people that like, tell me your goals. Tell me where you want to be. Tell me your future, what it looks like. Show me the vision of where you want to be. Like, I think that is big and much influences from where
I find it to be like an energy thing, going off what you're saying, where it's less of if I go into a room with those type of people, like I'm going to now become them. It's almost more of your energy gets tampered with. When you go into that room, your focus is here and it's like a distraction.
Yeah.
It's almost like you have your phone open and you're scrolling, right? When you're in those rooms with those people.
Yeah.
But I find that when you're not in those rooms, in those environments, you're with the right people, it's like you're not ingrained in the phone. You know what I mean? It's like you're having a real conversation. And that's something I struggled with like through college and like high school and middle school. Cause like how I am now is how I was a lot in middle school. And like I didn't have like an evolution where like, oh, I quit these bad habits. Like I've never really had that or been interested in that. So growing up, it was like, it was hard to find a crowd that like I could resonate with. I was always in that room with people that I felt like I was like, why aren't these guys focused? Why aren't they doing it?
Well, and that's so same for me. Like I grew up with a group of friends, but I would never say that I really belonged to a like best friends. Like, you know, I never had these best friends things. I was always, I knew everybody, but I was never like, I'm with this group of people and this is a group of people are where I want. Not saying anything was wrong with that, but I think that I knew where I wanted to go. And it took me a little bit to realize it, but I knew where I wanted to be. And now I have great friends. Like, you know, now it's really good. I have some amazing friends. I have amazing mentors. I have amazing, like just people in my life. And that it is contagious when you get around people and you start talking, when you start collaborating. And I think that's a huge thing for social and stuff is the collaboration right now. Like when you talk to people that are in your industry or you talk to people that have passion and you're sitting at a table, by the time you're done, you're running through walls probably.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So right now where you're at is a very different outcome than where you were initially on the path when you got started in business, right? Like tell me that journey of like you started, you know, what was your first job and then how did you end up?
So my first, if we're going back, I mean, my first job was a golf course.
Okay.
Like I was just a golf course. I just wanted free golf. But if we got to college, college was, I majored in biology. So I was going with the thought of going pre-med or whatever. And then I had one biology class that made me realize, or anatomy and physiology. I was like, I don't want to be in this anymore. So I actually switched to business my junior year. And I had 2 weeks of this accounting class and I realized that I need to go back to biology. So I found out that there's this really cool degree called exercise science where I could literally do sports and understand and play sports and play basketball and understand the mechanics and everything. And I was like, man, I'm going to be a physical therapist. I was like, yes, this is going to be awesome. Then I worked at a physical therapy clinic for 3 years and I realized that I didn't want to be a physical therapist. Great profession. It just wasn't where I wanted to be.
So you saw that you made it through college with the exercise science degree.
Exercise science degree. I never went to PT school, but I thought I was going to. I could have. I just didn't. I realized that I didn't want to do that. Now in school, so I had my first in college job. I basically would take pictures of cars and upload it to dealers' websites. So that was my first gig. Before they had all these fancy things now.
Right.
But I would literally just go take pictures of cars, upload it to the dealers' websites, and get paid for it.
You're a photographer.
I would not put that there.
It's more of an admin. It's more of an admin task.
I had this little digital camera, these old school little digital camera.
Hey, we'll take it. We'll take it.
Oh man, the lighting was horrible, but they paid me for it, so they didn't care.
So you transitioned from now you're a photographer at dealership. Right?
This was like I would say sophomore. This was just side hustle job.
Sure.
And then I would say, man, I tell this story all the time with a side hustle I did. So I found out that you could donate plasma, like in college. Found out about this.
You went and found people to get it from?
I did. So I was like, man, I'm sick of getting my arm stuck. I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. I hate needles. And I was like, all right, but I can make $100 every time I donate that. So what I did was I had a group of friends.
You wholesaled plasma?
No, I didn't wholesale it. I didn't wholesale it, but I transported it. I had a truck. So I would go, you need 2 donations to make a full donation with plasma. So I knew that I couldn't charge them on the first one, but they needed to go back to get the second one. So I would take a percentage of all their plasma donations.
You were plasma Uber.
Yes.
You were the plasma Uber.
I was a plasma Uber. I brought the product, the person.
Did you at least have like a shirt or something,
No.
or like a collar?
No,
you were
no.
in like a wife beater or something?
No. I had a Toyota Tacoma, and I had a bunch of people in the bed of my truck. I drive them twice. I drive them there, bring them back, and then drive them for their final. I'd collect my cut, and I never had to donate again.
Oh my goodness.
Hustle.
Wow. You can find the hustle in anything if you really try.
Absolutely.
But you know what I think is interesting that I didn't know growing up in business? I had a landscaping company. I sold cars. Is that there's certain models that are better to play than others.
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought, if you're selling baseball cards, you could build a successful business that's just as easy and just as successful
Right.
as, let's say, a mortgage company or a bank, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what I realized is like there's certain models where it's like you're walking up the mountain, with one leg, or you're walking up the mountain with 2 legs, kind of thing. So
Yeah.
what made you kind of transition from where you were at
To mortgages.
into mortgages? I imagine it was because the plasma just
The plasma
wasn't working out anymore.
plasma wasn't cut. I wasn't making enough. I didn't have a big enough. I needed a U-Haul at that point. I got into car sales too. And to be honest with you, I couldn't stand the environment of the dealership.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like it. I being 20 in my 20s, there was no way that I could work 8 to 11 o'clock at night.
Right.
And then do it again the next day. I just couldn't do it. And so someone got me in contact with a mortgage company, and I had no idea what a mortgage was. I didn't own a house at that time. I just knew that you needed a mortgage to buy a house. And I was like, let's roll. Let's do it. Might as well. So I went in there and I got my first job in the mortgage world. And then I grew real quickly. Within 2 years, I think it was like a couple years, I was leading a pretty big team at the mortgage company. So
mortgage as a business, do you find it was more appealing to scale, more appealing to seek and build than the car sales?
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
It's less hustly, or you can build a business around it.
But I was in operations at first. Like I wasn't a loan officer. I didn't go directly into sales. I learned a lot of the operations side of it. And I think I love to build. Like I love to create. I love to build. I just have this vision.
Building,
I just see it. So when I went into the mortgages, man, I was already like, I knew where I was going to go. And I was going to do everything. I was going to be the best at every job I had at the company so that I could grow as quickly as possible. I did it.
Yeah.
Like I moved up really quick, became AVP of a department. I helped build this department. I traveled around the country giving presentations about this department. So I built a business. But then one of the owners of the company, I have more respect for him than I just have so much respect for him. Good dude. He came up to me.
Toby.
Yeah. Toby Harris. Toby Harris. He is. I've known him. He was taking care of me. I think anybody that comes into contact with Toby will tell you the same thing. He's an amazing guy.
Yeah,
Amazing
I've
guy.
met several people in the area that have said that he's literally changed their entire business.
He's
changed their life.
It changed my life. He really changed my life. And so he came to me. I had a daughter being born in February. Okay. And I wasn't making a salary. I was making a salary. It was good salary. And he came to me in like November and said, "You're about to become a loan officer." And I was like, "You're crazy." He goes, "You're about to become a loan officer." So I studied and I got my license. I quit December. I think I quit like December 7th or something.
Were you nervous making that transition?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I called my wife. I mean, we're going from salary to 100% commission. Like we're going from guaranteed to no idea.
Yeah.
And I had a baby due in February and this was December. I mean, I was 2 months away.
Right. But you were looking forward to the ceiling also not being there anymore.
So that was the thing that I realized is that you're not telling me how much I can make anymore.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Let's go. let's go. So I got my license December 15th. I closed my first loan December 31st. It was a condo, and I'll never forget that. And after that, I mean, it was history, man.
Yeah.
It was history. But it's funny. I did my business like a lot of loan officers do their business. It wasn't until recently, I would say within the past maybe 8 to 10 months, that I realized that you can't do it the way everybody does it. And I do things very differently. Yeah.
I know you do the content, which is something I think a lot of people aren't doing. What do you feel like you're trying to do differently in your business in other areas? Maybe like it could be in accounting, it could be in, what you spend internally to invest on people. What is it that you feel like is making your success?
So the thing that changed my entire business was hiring a coach. And a lot of people wanted to coach me. Don't get me wrong. For 2 years, I had a lot of people reaching out to me. And the question I always asked them was, hey, how many loans have you closed? Like, how many loans have you done? And a lot of them were, well, we can coach you in business. We can coach you in different things, which is great. But I didn't need that. I was like, if somebody's doing $100 million in loans, if you're a millionaire from being a loan officer, tell me how you got there, show me how you did it, and then let me go execute. I don't need to recreate the wheel if somebody's already doing it.
Right.
Just show me how to get there. And so I hired, I got these 2 coaches who they're friends now with Growth Only Coaching. And man, Amir and Justin, they changed my mind. Like they rewired everything that I do. Everything I do is strategic. Everything I do has a purpose. They showed me how to create a process, how to not be scared to hire people so that my process can become solid. Like I don't do things the same. I don't do like, I don't go do the coffee dates. Yeah. Like I don't do that stuff because there's so many other ways that you can add value to a business partner's business without doing things and asking for something up front.
Out of desperation almost. Yeah.
I don't do anything out of desperation.
Yeah. Would you say that bringing on those coaches was the most beneficial thing you've ever done in business?
Yes, without a doubt. Without a hesitation in my mind, because I have a hard time being sold. Like, you don't want to sell me. Yeah. You really don't want to sell me anything. And what's cool about it is they didn't have to sell me anything. I already knew that, man, these guys are where I want to be. And no offense to them, I want to go further. Sure. And I think they would sit here and tell you, hey, we want to see him do more than us.
Yeah.
I think they tell you that. But they literally are my competition. I mean, they are.
Are they local guys?
No.
No, okay.
Nope. But they are competition.
Sure.
And they are giving me everything. Like they've taught me everything that I need to know to get where they are.
Yeah.
And I just go execute.
You know what I feel like dominates people a lot is that fear of stepping on toes, especially in the real estate industry. There's like all these, red tape is what they call it a lot of times, or agents are like, well, I don't want to, navigate into this realm, or that's their client, or that's their business. I don't want to. How do you find yourself in that jazz at all, or do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, you mean like when people are scared to talk to each other or like help each other?
That agent's working with that loan officer. Like I want to respect them because they're in this company. Like how have you navigated that, or is that something you don't even think about?
I don't even think about it.
That's beautiful.
I don't. If I have a respect for a loan officer, then, it is what it is.
Someone on your team.
Right, 100%. At the end of the day, if I'm calling somebody and saying, hey, I'm working with somebody on the team, I don't entertain the conversation. It stops and it says, you know what, you're working with an amazing loan officer.
Right.
You should be really thankful that you're working together. He's awesome. She's awesome.
Yeah.
Have a great
experience. You'll go to war with everybody else.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're all in competition, but I will go, I will help my competition.
Right.
Like if I see somebody on Instagram that could be doing something a little bit better, I'll tell them because I don't care, man. I don't live in a mindset where, and this is for anything, is like I don't live in a scarcity mindset. I live in a mindset, man. There is abundance everywhere. Like there's no reason to be fighting for this little bubble.
Amount of,
when there's so much going on.
Yeah, I think that most of the time we're wired growing up that there's not a lot. Like most people in life believe there's not a lot. There's not a lot of this. There's not a lot of that. But when you look around, like I was watching a video the other day, I think it was Grant Cardone, and he was driving down the street and he was like, look at all these buildings. He's in like Manhattan. He's like, look at all these buildings. This is all money. Like there's plenty out there to get.
There is.
There isn't a shortage of money. There isn't a shortage of business.
Right.
And it's just, I think, how you see it really.
And also, you know, I look at it as you want to work with the people that you like. Like I can't force somebody to work with me. Somebody can't force me to work with them. I want to work with the people that I want to work with, and I want the people who want to work with me. Like we have to be cool. We have to mesh. If we don't mesh, why would anybody want to put themselves through that? I'm very much of if I'm working with somebody, it's not transactional. If I'm working with somebody, it's relational.
Yeah.
And that's how I view it. Do
you feel like you seek almost trying to befriend the people you work with? Like, is that a big priority for you? Like that you actually vibe and get along?
Absolutely. If I want to hang out with you and not talk mortgages,
that's a good fit.
That's a good fit.
Yeah.
Like
I know people run their businesses differently. Some are like, hey, as long as you fit into the machine, like it doesn't matter if we get along or not, you know, or how much we vibe.
And people are going to do that. People are going to run their business how they want to do it. And if they're successful doing it, I mean, great.
Yeah.
It's just not the way I want to do it.
I think I'm like, I've satisfied both. Like working with people, I'm like, you know, we don't really see eye to eye on a lot of core fundamentals, or we see really clash heads on the way things should be done. And you can still work with them and satisfy, you know, their needs as well as the people you really get along with. But I think what for me is you sacrifice your happiness or your pleasure in your work.
Yeah.
If it's people wanting to work in ways that, you know, you're not wanting to. And I think that's the loss is, if you're not working with the people that you enjoy working with, you're going to lose happiness and passion, which is your fuel, really. Yeah.
And I, like you said, I like what you said. Like, you don't have to agree. I guarantee you, everybody I work with, we might not have the same view. I mean, I don't care though. Like, to me, who are you as a person? How do you treat the client? How do you treat me? How do I treat you? Like, that's what's important to me. We don't have to agree on the same worldviews. We don't have to agree on everything.
Yeah.
I don't think we should.
Right.
Because then we don't have discussion. I think healthy discussion, I think people have gotten scared of healthy discussion. And I think that healthy discussion is so important because that's
a good line. Healthy discussion.
Healthy discussion.
Doesn't mean that has to be perfect.
No.
It just means healthy. It's just I respect what you have to say and you respect what I have to say. Yeah.
Yep, and that's how I am. I will sit across from somebody that has a polar opposite of view of everything that I'm about. But you know, at the end of the day, I care for that person.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they have an opposing view because it allows me to think as well. Like, it allows me to come up with ideas and things. So, man, I'm all about it. I'm all about it.
I think we need more people that are on that respecting side too, where it's like, hey, you got different opinions, like, that's cool. That's cool with me, man. I still like appreciate you and what you're good at and what you do. Like, sometimes you meet those people, you know what I mean? Where like they say their opinion, then you say yours, and it's like they like turn it into like a battle. Yeah. And it's like, dude, calm down. Like, that's the type of energy I feel like that could be toxic too. It's like they're constantly needing to prove.
Some people are ready to go all the time. Some people are ready to go. Some people are ready to fight all the time and defend their stance. And again, it's passion. It's passion for what you believe. And I think, again, it leads to, you're right, you have to have respect. If you're going to ask for an opinion, get ready for it because you're going to get it. And you got to be willing to accept what the opinion is.
Right.
And I think that you can't respond emotionally to everything all the time.
Emotional responses.
You can't, man. It's just. Man.
So you're in a line of real estate, because you don't know mortgages, what allows you to purchase a house most of the time unless you got cash. Being in real estate, have you done personal investing? Have you, like, what is your tie to real estate? Like, do you own your house? Do you have investment properties? Like, I'm always interested to see people that are in this business.
I love real estate. I love it. And if I could go back and do it again in that 20s, I know if I knew now whatever that thing is, I would have done real estate from
the get-go
18. I would have done it because there's so many ways that I could have had doors. But for me, I own my house. I have a rental. and
a single family,
single family rental.
Okay.
Crazy story with that one. It was
Did you live in it?
No.
That one? Okay.
I bought it.
You bought it as an investment.
So yeah, this lady actually, this lady actually listed. It was in the neighborhood I grew up in. So I know how good that neighborhood is. And it came on the market. Well, one of the agents that grew up in that neighborhood that knows me as well has an alert that whenever something pops up
in that spot,
she's like, hey, do you want this? And I'm like, man, let's do it. It was on the market for 10 minutes. And I just told her, I was like, write the offer, just write the offer, submit it.
You had a pulse on that spot.
I was like, let's just write this offer. Apparently, I didn't know this. The lady that had owned it had a renter in there, and she was a big philanthropist in the area, and she had passed away. And in her will, she wrote to take the first offer that comes in, don't haggle, and donate the money to charity. Yeah.
Wow.
So
that's cool.
We didn't know anything about that.
Well, good thing you didn't donate $10 because it did go to charity and it fulfilled their will.
Right.
Imagine you knew and you were like $10.
I know. But yeah, so you
have bad karma forever.
But we called. I was like, first thing I was like, write the offer. Second question was like, what's wrong with it? Because that neighborhood is not where I got it for. And she was like, man, we found out later on after the offer was accepted what was going on. So that was a cool one.
That's cool.
I flipped a house. I flipped a couple. I have a rental and I own mine.
That's cool.
And I'm always.
You flipped a couple? Mm-hmm. How'd that go? I feel like everybody tries a couple flips in their life, and some people are like, I'm out. And then other people.
I did it. I did it. I did it with my brother-in-law and my wife's cousin who flips homes in Richmond. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It turned out.
How family sometimes.
I know. It was fine. It was fine. I think that for me, it was great. It was a great experience, but monetarily, like my return
wasn't worth the time.
I could have just focused more on the mortgages and done that. However, though, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about houses. I learned a lot about flipping a house. I learned what goes into it, listing it and getting it on the market. We had a roof surprise that we didn't know we had to replace a roof. So I learned about the surprises that take place.
Yeah.
Ultimately, the house turned out great. We sold it for a good price and things got done. And I would do it again if the opportunity was there, but it would have to make sense.
Have to be the right one.
Yeah, these guys that are doing it full time, man, more power to them.
Yeah. And I realized a lot of those guys are looking for volume too. Mm-hmm. Like I've seen some of them buy houses and it's like, they know that they're not good numbers almost.
Yeah.
But they've got 10 crews or whatever.
Right.
Where they're like, we just need a job for crew 4 and then we'll hold it for, a year. We'll burr it or whatever. Mm-hmm. But
a lot of people say the margins aren't there anymore. The margins aren't.
I really don't. I think unless you're getting them off market really, or like you're just putting in volumes of offers at what it's should be, and eventually you're going to get one even if they're on market because it's just going to timing. Sometimes investors aren't going to want that one, but. Yeah, I think it is oversaturated and really competitive. That's why my vision, what I see really being underserved and not really tapped into as much is on the commercial side. Because I think that most people, the way they see the market shifting and like technology and stuff is that commercial's dying. And it really is in a sense, like retail shops are not performing as well, but people still need grocery stores.
Yeah.
Right? Like people still need Publix and Target and stuff like that.
For sure.
Like those I think will always be there. But I'm really interested in getting into the automotive space.
Man, so oh my gosh, my dad, every time I'm over there, he's like, you want to open up a used car lot? You want to get a used car lot? I'm like, as long as I don't have to be there.
Right. So you want, I think automotive shops are like a bulletproof investment. Now I need to get more into the numbers, but I really think that like auto shops or repair facilities for or like even like like stuff with a shipyard, right? Like those warehouses where they have like a sheet metal fabricator there for like 35 years. They're getting $1 million contracts from the government.
Yeah, for sure.
They don't mind paying that fee. And you know what the nice thing is about those ones, like the warehouse or the industrial or the automotive like shops, they don't care what the paint color is. They don't care half the time if their HVAC's even working. They're not even there. They don't care if the wall's leaking a little bit. Their standards are down here, but they need to pay it because they're making a bunch of money. Yeah. So
you should do it. I would love to do it.
That's my goal.
My dad would love to do it.
That's my goal is to transition from residential at some point into like auto mall, automotive shop type business. And if you go there, they're slammed. Every parking space is filled. They're parking up on the curbs. They've got them stacked on top of each other. They're bumper to bumper. There's 4 guys in there cranking away. Sorry, we can't work on your car until next week. That's the real estate that I want to own. And they're there for 30 years. And then they build their business around the location.
Right.
So it's like they're locked in. They're like, well,
Everybody
if we move,
knows.
we'll lose all of our customers. So I don't know. I got to do more research, but
I'm gonna let you take the mechanic side of it. You don't want me touching a car.
Yeah, I don't want to own the shop per se. I just want to own the building.
There you go.
Because they're desperate too. The city actually locks automotive from being zoned in a lot of places. I've learned they don't like automotive. They hate it because it looks, junky. It looks like a junkyard. So if you can get one of the properties that's zoned the value of it just being zoned there's like a waiting list of people that are like, I need a shop, I need a shop, I need a shop. If you can get into one, it's like you'll have people backlog waiting to start their automotive business. So
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Let me know when you do that.
Yeah. Honestly, I haven't done enough research because I've been so focused on the residential, but I don't know. I feel like to me, the really nice thing is the not needing to do a ton of repairs or build out or stuff like that. Like concrete floors, metal roof, the buildings usually last 25 years, not touching them. So maybe a toilet here or there.
There you go.
Yeah. But I gotta figure that out. But I look online. Do you look online for do you have any, I guess, online mentors, people you look up to? There's people like Gary V. I love Gary V. He's like super, I've learned so much from Gary V. I'm not going to lie. He's partly the reason why I dropped out of college. Without a doubt. Yeah.
He says that in his videos though.
I
think there's a video of him talking to some lady and he's like, tell your kid to drop out of college.
Yeah. There was one video he did where he was basically saying, if you are 22 years old and you have and you have your whole life ahead of you and you're in college, you have, tons of time, tons of life. And in college, I was like, man, I'm running out of time. I don't know what I'm gonna do. But he was basically saying you have enough time to try your scary thing, fail, and then go back to the corporate world or the safe route. And that video was what made me partially supported my decision to drop out.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But do you have any people that you have watched? I know you said you were coaches, but are there any people that you watch in real estate or in other areas that inspire you?
Man, I can't think of anybody off the top of my head. I watch everybody on Instagram to see kind of what they're doing.
Right. Are you a book reader?
No.
No, not a book reader.
No, I'm not. Man, I
everybody
read.
Says to read
I
books.
know. I read, and everybody's like, "Oh, CEOs they read X amount of books a year. Yeah. You got to read. You got to read." I get to the end of a page, and I'm just like, I'm thinking about business.
I'm the same way.
I don't even know what I've read.
I'm the same way. When I get to the end of the page, I'm like, I don't feel like I got enough value from that page to justify the time that I spent reading that page. I'm like, sometimes it's 3 chapters to get one concept that you could have just told me in person in 10 seconds.
I am not a reader, but I like conversation. Yeah. Then that's when I pick stuff up. If I'm hearing people talk, if I see things,
you're a listener in person.
I will listen. I observe. I listen. I take it in.
Yeah.
Digest, and then figure out how I want to make it my own.
Right. Yeah. And I feel like most people learn through a set of avenues. A lot of people are like, books is my thing, podcast is my thing, or you in person, you absorb really well the information that's presented to you. You were doing your social videos lighting one way. Did you switch it up recently? Did you try the stuff that I had said?
Yeah, that's what I did on those 2 recent ones.
So that's what I'm saying. You're an implementer based off of dialogue.
Yeah. If somebody tells me to do something and I think that it can positively influence my business,
you'll do it.
It'll be done before.
Yeah.
We hang,
that's how you learn.
I sent you that picture of my office, and you were like, "Oh boy, we gotta change some things around here." But I did it immediately.
Right.
I immediately did. I hung up sheets on my. I don't have any curtains. I didn't have any anything fancy. I just was I told my wife, I was like, I just need the darkest sheets we have. I'm hanging them. And she comes in the room and it's a fitted sheet on the curtain hanging that I've strung up.
But I saw the videos. The lighting looks.
That's what I'm talking about. So it doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter necessarily what's behind the scene. It's what's people are seeing.
Yeah.
So it was an absolute nightmare in my office, but it
works.
I'm glad you noticed.
Yeah. I thought the lighting looked great. I didn't know if you had implemented something else or it was just what I had said or.
I took that because you made that video and you did it with the lighting that rotated around. Yeah. I was like, okay, let me just make my room as dark as possible and let me just stick a ring light here.
Right.
So I just stuck a ring light off to the side, and
that's how simple it really is. But it's we don't think about lighting that way, like until you get into the field of like video, like you don't walk outside and notice the shadow angles or like on people's faces as much. Like but then once you see it, once your brain goes, it's like you can't unsee it. It's like now I'm like locked into seeing shadows and everything.
I am not a photographer. I'm not an artistic person. That is not my gift. I won't even claim it. But if I can get a little, like just give me give me a little bit of how to do it, and I'll just go execute. I don't care. Yeah. I don't care.
Yeah. So back to the book thing. I think everybody says read a book. What I've found is that my books are videos. Like I will watch like a guy stand up for 10 minutes and give a speech, and I'm like you. Like I download. I will listen to it, and like it's like I'm reading a book. But I find speeches or dialogue to be much faster. People get to the point really quick. Like they're 10-minute. 30-minute speech that would take you, 3 hours to read the book. And then it's like just the focus condensed. And I feel like deliverance, like hearing someone say it, it really makes it kind of seal in my brain more. But
I'm the same way. Either. I'm the same way. And I think that, so you're sitting here asking that, and I'm trying to think of like, if I plug into anybody that and I think I have people so close to me that have so much experience that
you're plugging into them.
That's who I plug into.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. There's a couple of people in my life that pour into me. And when we are in a room together talking, it is like, I mean, it's just so much.
You get more done in 10 minutes.
Yeah. I get more done with people that have the success that I want. And just people in general that are passionate.
Yeah. How have you chosen to position those people around you in your life? Do you feel like they don't just end up there? You know what I mean? Like,
man,
you place yourself.
A couple of them just have.
Yeah. They just gravitated based on your energy.
I'm not scared to go meet people. I think meeting people and having micro connections, like leveraging micro connections, is so important. I mean, that's a whole nother topic that you can talk about. But I find people that I respect, and I'm gonna go there. There's a couple people that I would say I have a close circle of people that I trust and respect, that I will listen to whatever they say. And I don't know. I found them.
Right. That's awesome.
A couple of the guys, were from, a couple of guys were from church. There's two. There's Rob. So Rob is one of the guys. I've had him on. I did a podcast with him, and another one is Jared. And both are very successful in what they've done. Rob was like a professional golfer. Jared's built like Fortune 500. He's pastor at one city. And man, their heart for people and their heart for business, and the conversation that we have is, put us in a room.
Yeah, you're like a sponge.
Put us in a room for about 30 minutes and we will have $1 million businesses just rolling.
Yeah. So I think environment is really everything for your daily mindset. Like it's easy to like be like, this day I'm not ready. But when you got those people around you, it's like those off days, it's like they're right there.
Yeah.
And they have the good day that day, and that brings your off day up. But I find that it's the consistency that comes with being around those people is the nice thing of consistently having that energy around.
Yeah. Like if I was a business coach, I think I would watch a business coach. I think that Gary Vee is huge for growing a brand, and that piece of it makes complete sense because he's a genius.
Yeah.
For me, I'm like, man, with the mortgage business, I don't know who's in that space. If you look at all the people putting out content for mortgage right now, it's all the same thing.
About interest rates.
Yeah, it's all the same thing.
Mortgage, yeah.
How do you buy a property with less than 20% down? What's the mortgage process? Like everybody puts out the same content. Right. So I don't think there's anybody that's really
niche specific that you
changing
really
the game.
At. Yeah.
Like no one's really telling me anything that I don't know.
Right.
What I'm being taught about mortgages that I don't know is that I just need to stop doing mortgages and just start doing relationships.
Right.
And that's what changed it. The second I stopped doing mortgages is the second I started doing more of them.
You stop focusing on the product.
Stop focusing on it.
Yeah.
You know who the only person that cares about mortgages as much as me? Is me and all the other loan officers.
Right, right. It's your nerdy thing you geek out about, but no one really actually cares.
No one's watching that stuff.
That's a good point. Like if you are positioned as just the person in the space of whatever it is, like you right now could change over to probably having a hot dog stand. right? And like you would still attract and still radiate the same energy. Like it doesn't have anything to do with mortgages.
Right.
Like it's not tied to the business sector. It's you that attracts the customers, that attracts the business and the
I'm the only one looking up as much mortgage videos as like no one else is going to be sitting there Googling mortgages as much as me or another loan officer. But what's crazy though is that, and this is awesome, is that more people are going to Instagram and more people are going to TikTok and Facebook and YouTube for advice on how to purchase a home.
Yeah.
Or how to grow on like social right now. Everybody wants to know how to grow on social. I don't care what business you're in. Everybody wants to know how to grow on social, how to grow that brand, which where do you go find out how to do it?
On social, usually.
On social.
Yeah.
So,
gonna change gears here. What do you want? Like, I think it's easy to just get on this path of building a business, or, you know, we've got families, right? Like sometimes I feel like in life, people are just kind of being pulled to this direction of just, you know, this is just where we're going, right? How much do you feel like you're steering that, and where is it that you feel like you're trying to go in your life? Like in general, like overall. That's a deep question.
That's a very deep question.
Where is it that you're trying to go? Where do you feel like your mission, your vision is taking you?
I think that for me, my goal is to not work forever. I don't want to work forever, you know? I have sacrificed a lot of time with my family. I have sacrificed a lot of time with now I'm blessed because I work from home. I've gotten to be there for all major points in my kid's life. But, you know, there's a lot of time where I'm sitting on the phone and I'm sitting on a computer, or I'm doing something, and I look out the window and I see my kids running and playing, and my wife's out there with them, and I'm sitting inside building it. And it was almost a realization, like, I don't necessarily need to be a billionaire. Like, I don't need to be a billionaire, but my goal is I want to help people, and I want to not have to work my entire life so that I can enjoy life a little bit. A couple of my friends, they call me and they're like, dude, you don't enjoy, you're not like, you don't hang out anymore because you're always busy. And I'm like, man, I know, but I know where I want to go.
Right.
And my goal, I think for success is I want to create these businesses that can hum on their own so that I can do other things. I really want to help people.
Yeah.
Like I care about people. Me personally in my life, where I'm plugged into a very like good church, and I think that the mission there of what I think there's a lot of a negative connotation with church. I do, and not to take this into a religious thing, but I think there is a lot of negative connotation in church. I think church has hurt a lot of people, and I recognize that. I have found a place that is sole mission in life is taking everybody and saying, we know you're not perfect. We know that you got stuff. Come in here and let's help you work through it. And it's not like I'm going to beat you over the head with a Bible. I'm not going to, make it to where this thing is unappealing. Man, it's about getting to the heart of people. It's about getting to problems people have. Like at the end of the day, all the mess that's going on is just because people have issues and they just don't know how to deal with them.
Yeah. And
if we can create a place where people know how to really go to somewhere and feel accepted, go to a place that they can work through their issues. And man, that's transformation. That's where I want to, the businesses are cool and everything, right? But at the end of the day, when I die, the businesses are still here. Mm-hmm. Like the money, I can't take anything with me.
Yeah.
But if I can help one person work through something to where they stay on this earth, or maybe one person is struggling with a relationship, and then I can help them, man, that creates like a lasting impact on people.
Yeah.
And again, not to get too serious with it all, and this probably wasn't even the direction you thought I was going to go, but I think that ultimately my vision is create businesses. I love the business. I want to create a life for my kids. I want generational wealth. I don't want to just create wealth for my wife and I want to create it so my girls don't have to worry about it, but are raised humbly to understand that they're not going to get everything that they want. And then I want their kids to be good. I want my family to be taken care of, but I also think there's a way bigger picture of people in this community that need help. And I think it's going to take people stepping up and saying, hey, look, I can help you. Like if you need somebody to talk to, come talk to me.
Right.
Don't be ashamed and don't be scared of things that you're walking through, because nothing you're going to tell me is going to surprise me. I'm going to sit there and I'm going to listen to you and I'm going to help you work through it. So I just have a heart for people and this community. I was born and raised here. I love the people of this community. So,
love that.
Yeah, I know that was
I think church is a good opportunity for those people to feel comfortable about their problems, to come out about that, and then for the people to receive that. You know what I mean? I think that's like what makes church a beautiful environment. But yeah, I agree.
People get hurt by it though, because I think that there's so many times that you walk into a church and it's so cliquey, and you feel so judged,
right?
And it's a huge miss. And the other thing is like, you know, oh man, it's just a whole thing that can happen. And I think that if you can find a place that genuinely cares about the heart of people, I mean, we're coming into one of the biggest weekends for churches ever, right? And we're going to a day where a lot of people that don't go. And I think that a lot of people have stuff that they're walking through. Like a lot of people have stuff. They have baggage. They have things that they don't know how to walk through. You could pass somebody on the street, talk to them, and they got a smile on their face, but you know, maybe they don't want to be on this earth anymore. And it's like, man, if we don't get to those people and just try to help people walk through things, like what really are we doing with all the business and all that stuff? Yeah,
what's the point? Like
it's so much bigger than
what I find that's really cool and satisfying about business is when you do really focus on the helping part too. It usually rewards in business as well. So it's like you can focus on one or the other, you know what I mean? But I feel like if you just focus on the helping part or the value part, as I like to call it, like just giving value as much as you can, then the business will prosper from that as well, you know? Whereas if you just focus on the business in a way and just always stay tight to that, only think about the business and what it's giving you,
right?
It's like, yeah, the business might be successful, but now you're missing that whole other window of opportunity. So that's cool to hear you say.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of people think that, I think a lot of people get so in the routine of doing mortgages that people become a loan number. People become a number. They become a transaction ID.
An MLS number.
Yeah, they become that number, and you forget that, man, it's a person that's trying to buy their first house.
Yeah,
it's a family that's going from a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom rental to now owning a single family. Like we're not playing with just numbers here. Like there's real people on the other side of these transactions.
Yeah,
and if we don't treat them with the most respect, like they are the most important person in the transaction, we miss the mark there too. It is not about this instant gratification that we have been so conditioned to want. It is knowing that some people can't buy. Like the reality is some people I talk to cannot buy, but they might be able to. And am I going to do everything I can to make it so they're set up for an opportunity to buy later on? And again, that's just caring for people.
Yeah.
It's just caring for the people.
I have got that. Like, I think there's plenty of loan officers that like, you're not ready right now with this much budget. And this, I literally had somebody on camera the other day say like, you got to have this budget. You have to be right here at this point for me to grab you, or it's not going to work out.
But that's sad, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's sad. It's like, if this doesn't work out, so long. I'm more so like, if this isn't going to work out, at least let me show you how it
Here's the steps to get to there. Yeah.
Good. And that's just the people I partner with too in any business. Like, care about your people. Care about your people.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, I think this has been a good podcast. I'm glad we got into the roots a little bit of Daniel Solis.
Onion, just peeling back layers.
Yeah. So,
man, it was cool though. I really appreciate it. I mean, it's cool to be it's cool to be able to talk about something that's not mortgages all the time. Like, I'm tired of talking about mortgages sometimes, and just seeing what you're doing with everything. Again, you took those pictures, and you made me look real good. You made me look real good. The wife was happy. Yeah, she was. Cool. Cool. She's like, don't post them anywhere. No, I'm just kidding. But no, awesome. You are you're passionate about this stuff, and you have a real gift, like a true gift, and I'm excited to watch it grow.